From San Antonio, Texas, home of the Alamo, the Riverwalk, and the World Heritage San Antonio Missions, this is the Exit Planning Coach podcast with John F. Dini. Designed to help advisors who work with business owners, John talks with top professionals in the exit planning field about best practices, marketing tips, and how to be more effective when working with owners. Now, here's John F. Dini.
Welcome to the Exit Planning Coach podcast. I'm here today with Greg McLaughlin, the founder and a partner in business and financial strategies in Coralville, Iowa. And where is Coralville, Greg, before we read your whole bio?
Coralville is right next to Iowa City, Iowa.
Oh, okay. Okay. Greg started BFS in 2006, but he started financial planning in 2001 after he got a finance degree from the University of Iowa and was on the Hawkeye football team. And he refers to BFS as an ensemble practice. I like that. He has a number of people handling different things. He has built businesses outside of wealth management, which gives him more insight into working with business owners and preparing them for a better retirement. In his free time, Greg still follows the Hawkeyes in all sports, including you just had a basketball player beat Maravich's unbeatable lifetime points record.
Yeah, Caitlin Clark.
Caitlin Clark, that's it. And you also participate in triathlons, which I find intimidating. And you have here on your bio the best advice ever given to you, and I got to read it because it's one of the best advice pieces I've ever heard. Do what is hard and life will be easy. Do what is easy and life will be hard. So welcome, Greg. Pleasure to have you.
Yeah, thanks for having me on, John.
Thanks for agreeing to be on. So you started out as a financial planner. What brought you into working with business owners specifically?
Well, it's been a passion of mine, more so just started with, like you said, own business and financial strategies. And so need to kind of go through the same things that other people go through, and then also own some real estate. And so it's just been easy kind of passion and spent a lot of time researching and doing things. But it's the nice thing is each business is different and each situation. And you got to pivot on the fly sometimes in the meetings where you think it's going to go. It goes in a totally different direction. But the different options that we kind of come up with together and might be a different game plan for later and than what's right today.
Yeah. People ask me, what do you do what do you tell people when they ask you what they should do? And you can't just tell somebody what to do.
Right.
Every company is different. Every owner is different. So you started BFS in 2006. Did you start right off working on exit planning with business owners?
No, I was, started in 2001 in the business, and then, definitely was not working directly with business owners right out of college. I, had to kind of cut my teeth and, get sales and different things that, is a tough, meeting after meeting type thing. And then, probably 2010, I started working with business owners, but officially got my CEPA in 2022.
And what is your first meeting like? How do you start off? We all know that exit planning is a tough conversation to have with a lot of business owners. They're reluctant to talk about a life without the business or a business without them. So how do you start off with them?
Yeah, usually it's a referral, so from another business owner, and so that makes it pretty open and easier. But usually it's over coffee, not in the office. Do a lot of virtual as well, but basically it's to kick the tires and them ask questions of myself and what BFS can do and how we can help. And then also we ask questions to kind of see what the problems and the issues are. Usually it's 30 to 45 minutes, but usually you have a good connection. And, we go through before we meet, kind of the barrier to meet would be the exit map assessment. And
you do that first? Okay.
Yeah. So we want to make sure that they answer those 20 some questions, and it just leads to a pretty good conversation from there.
What do you focus on? And I mean, the assessment is 20 questions, but you can't talk about 20 things when you're doing a 30-minute meeting.
Yeah,
So what do you look to focus on?
we focus on that one page that has the 4 boxes. I can't,
Mhm.
and then it has the speedometer as far as what exit preparedness. So if they're 40%, we kind of talk about where we can help them and increase those boxes to get them closer to, probably never 100%, but close to it.
Oh, nobody's going to get to
Yeah.
100%. As a matter of fact, I don't think the algorithm can go to 100%.
Right. Right.
I think it goes to like 99.98 or something
Yeah.
like that. Yeah. But if they're there, they're fine.
Yeah.
Um,
Exactly.
and what makes them into a client? So you go and you have a conversation with them, and what makes them decide to put, time and cash behind this effort?
Yeah, I think the first thing that needs to happen in that first meeting is there needs to be a connection. And so a lot of my past experience, and I think it helps personally as you're a business owner as well. And so you've been through those things. And so that's where the connection comes from. I think the trust comes from the referral. In our case, that's what we
Mhm.
do. And so that helps. But you're gaining that trust along the way as well. And then also hopefully they see the value in working with BFS. And so we kind of have to lay that out. And part of that is through the exit map and the 5 meeting process. And then I think the big thing that we also add is kind of a one-stop shop where we can do their individual assets and personal financial plan.
You said like most of us, we just completed the NEPS survey for this year, and number one with a bullet as far as marketing is referrals from other professionals. So we said that, but how do you market to those professionals? How do you reach out to them, if at all?
We market for new business would be, referrals. And so
Mhm.
we do a good job for our current CEPA clients, and they refer, they send their friends. It's a tight group. What we found is the owners, and so they'll send the people that they do business with over to me and have a cup of coffee and just kind of chat. But that would be our big thing, would be the current clients that are CEPA. That's where the business comes from.
And how about your centers of influence? How do you reach out to them, or?
Yeah, center of
Mm.
influences, accountants and attorneys, other advisors, other financial advisors as well. If they're not in that market, we send the accountants and attorneys referrals, and so we feel that obviously we can't do everything, and we want to make sure that they're taken care of. And so if we send referrals to them, usually they reciprocate and send back to us.
Okay. Um, I wanted to ask you, uh, I admire triathletes because it's like really hard. Yeah. Yeah. I I don't know if I'd run to catch a bus, but how much training does it require? How do you stay in shape to run
Well, they've
triathlon?
definitely tapered down last couple years. But yeah, it depends on the distance. But yeah, you're either running, biking, or swimming every day, sometimes twice a day.
Wow.
So it's a big time commitment.
I used to have when I lived in California, I had a next door neighbor. And we lived up in the canyons above Malibu. We were about 800 or 900 feet above sea level, coming straight up from the beach. And I would go out, and he was a retired fireman, and he used to run the Ironman in Hawaii every year. And he was in his 60s. And I'd go out, and he'd be down on the coast highway riding his bike, and I'd drive past him and drive home and go on my driveway and be out working in the yard or something. And about 2 hours later, here he'd come up the hill on his bike, and he'd lay it down, take a drink of water, and set off running. you know,
Yeah.
you know, in the California heat,
Right. Right. Yeah.
just insane. Um, how would you describe your ideal client?
I would say the ideal client, the business owner, does not have an exit strategy. So if they had one, they wouldn't need us, right? And so
Mhm.
that would be the first, obviously, step there. But help putting together a game plan, open mind. They're open to listen and have a conversation, but also that we could help them see the vision for their future exit, you know. The ideal client for us also would lead into kind of the individual side of things, and the personal plan definitely ties into the business side of things.
Sure, sure. But you say you get referrals from other financial planners, so you probably have at least some sort of handshake or nodding agreement that they'll keep the AUM if that's what they're doing.
Yeah, so when I say that, it's not like a competitor. We have a bigger network of 80 plus advisors. So
Mm,
those people might be in Atlanta or Missouri, all over the US, and they would refer to us, and then they would 100% keep the AUM and future AUM. Yeah. Yep, that's a
okay.
good point.
Okay.
The guys down the street are not sending people our way.
Yeah. All right. Well, let me take a break here to pay for the podcast, and we'll be back in just a minute. I'm here with Greg McLaughlin of Business and Financial Strategies in Coralville, Iowa.
How would your practice survive if only 25% of your clients were happy with your work? How many referrals would you get? Would you advertise that success rate? Over the last decade, both the Exit Planning Institute and PwC have surveyed owners and found that 75% were profoundly unhappy a year after their exits. In 10 years, the exit planning industry has done little to fix this issue. Business owners need purpose, direction, and activity after exiting. Planning for that starts with your very first coaching conversation. We work with advisors who believe that clients should be happy after exiting. ExitMap is a structured discovery process that helps you have deeper conversations about client options, objectives, and life after the business. We help you launch better transitions. Take a test drive at exitmap.com.
Welcome back to the Exit Planning Coach podcast. I'm here with Greg McLaughlin of Business and Financial Strategies. And Greg, you said, as the rest of us do, you get referrals from other centers of influence, from other people that are looking to fill out a team to do exit planning. Why don't you give us a quick website and phone number there where they can reach you?
Yeah, website would be www.bfsfinancialplanning.com. Phone number is 319-358-7700.
Great, thank you. What is your biggest challenge in exit planning? What do you run into uh, that you need to overcome? I mean, if after you get the initial sale going, what do you think causes you the most headaches when you're working with a client?
Yeah,
Or
I would
concern?
say,
I wouldn't say
I,
headaches, concerns. I'm
yeah,
sorry, I misphrased that.
I
Yeah.
would just say, like, I feel like things are going well, the workflow and the flow of the client meetings are good. I would say time, both ways for myself and our team and the business owner. If in a perfect world, I would like to have it every 2 weeks. And so, it's 5 meetings. And so, every 2 weeks, that'd be great. But it seems like things come up and different things. I know that's not a bad, really bad challenge, but that would be the challenge that we're facing. I feel like we have a pretty good everything that we're doing in the meetings and things and are going well.
Well, and then we're busy and we work a lot, and the people we work with are not uncommonly working 45 or 50 or 55 hours a week running a business,
Right,
you know.
right.
So it's a challenge.
Yeah.
Um, Speaking of challenges, what kind of situations do you keep running across with business owners where they've started in the wrong direction or have a misapprehension about what they're doing, or something that you regularly have to overcome with an owner?
Yeah, I would say just as far as the challenge or some common thread would be just we're big on like ROE, uh, return on equity.
Mm-hmm.
And so seeing the options that are out there, if it's a real estate, if you're an investor, if you're a business owner, what's your ROE? And explaining that to a business owner, sometimes they don't think that way. And because that plays into when we help them exit down the road, and let's say they're comparing it to a 6 or 7%, 5 to 7% average return in the market, right? So those are things, just what's the opportunity cost? And so if we have a business that we're working with that might own, their shares are 1.5 million in a restaurant and their distributions of 500,000 a year, that's a pretty good income.
Yeah.
So we're not going to say go sell that, so that's a good return on their equity. On the flip side, if someone's getting 1% in a $5 million real estate deal, that's 50K a year. That's probably not the best use of that $5 million.
Yeah. Yeah. And for a while that was better than bonds, but not anymore.
Right. Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see, we talked about referrals already. Um, we had, uh, we talked, you got your CEPA in 22. I got mine in 18. I was one of the first 1,000 CEPAs. As you know, it's been getting larger and larger. We just saw the last class, the January class, was 272 new certified people in the field. And obviously I talk to advisors, every day. And, a lot of the new CEPAs and others, there are other certifications too. They get the certification and they're like, okay, well, how do I get started? Now what do I do? We get people that say, I put the CEPA out there and I put the ExitMap widget up on my website and it's been 3 months and nobody's called me. What's your advice to somebody that's just starting out and wants to get into exit planning?
Yeah, I would say do not try and do it all by yourself. That would be my number one thing. It's a little bit more in depth, and working like, so we have a team, so we work to our strengths, and so we delegate and work together. So Derek helps in with meetings. He's in meetings with me and in connecting with clients. Leslie in our office is a value growth advisor, and she's usually the one of the handoffs after the 5 meetings with ExitMap on the, if it's a buy sell or an employee handbook or a continuity plan, to help kind of facilitate, because a lot of times you can tell or say, hey, here's the recommendations of what we're seeing, and then things just don't get done, and they're not the top of the list. So we need to have kind of that accountability and that hand holding there. And then Sam in our office, helps with the M&A and introducing people and kind of helping that just kind of keep going down the right path there.
Yeah, you say,
And then using ExitMap, we use ExitMap as far as the 5 meetings, and I'm a big just process guy. So you tell me what to do and I'll do it. And so it's a proven process and we just follow it and it's organized.
thanks. You talk about Sam helping with the M&A. Do you do transaction work?
No,
No, you don't list companies for sale or?
no,
No.
no, we do not broker or anything like that. And so, Sam would connect people and help and kind of facilitate with that. But no, we definitely do not do the transaction side.
All right. Well, it's been a pleasure today. Enjoyed talking to you, Greg. We'd like to have you back again sometime. I hope you
Yeah,
enjoyed it too.
yeah. Thanks
And
for having me.
we'll let you know when we put this up. And thank you for the good work and thank you for the help for the 3 million baby boomer business owners that are still trying to figure out what comes next.
Yep.
So have a great day.
All right. Thanks, John.
Thank you.